¿Te quedaste con esto? No, ¿por qué te cambiaste? Te cambiaste. Con es con ra.
Sí, ¿verdad?
Mira que tanta chamba.
Abundancia de facetas.
¿A dónde vas?
¿Tiene que dar vuelta?
¿No? Sí. ¿A dónde?
Aquí. ¿Qué tienen manitas, no? Bien, es intercambio comercial.
¿Estás tomando video con esto? Ay, estás tomando.
The YouTube Experience.
Me quedé sin nada.
A ver.
Nada.
Si te quedas sin nada. Es otro tipo, ¿no? Qué poca. Era yo.
Okay, so, in which part of the exercise, what was it like in the part where we were sharing the money? What was your experience? One second, I'm balancing my roses there.
Fue con un billete y en un momento que tenía 4 billetes y entonces pedí a 4 personas y terminé sin billete. Gracias.
Next person?
Lo que dijiste en cuanto a la abundancia de pasar el dinero de mano tras mano, y que se hacía con una gran rapidez, que todos ganamos, todos tenemos, porque yo me volteaba a todos lados y todos tenían las manos. Entonces, si eso fuese en realidad, qué padre.
Bueno, al principio mi cuñado preguntó qué Canadá, le digo, bueno, lo que quiero compartir es tanto, y no a empezar a compartir si me costó trabajo, y al final yo me quedé con más de lo que me tocó al principio, y eso me sentí así como culpable. Porque uno a la hora de compartir, si uno puede dar, uno sabe cuánto puede dar. Y cuando uno atesora como fue al final, es cuando viene este sentimiento, ¿no?
So I want to point something out. His ego had him doubting how much he could give,
Right.
and then doubting that if it was okay to have received more. See, notice that mechanism doesn't care how it keeps you separate from loving yourself, loving God, it's just always going to keep you separate. It will have you doubting everything. Its game is a doubter. And it was a beautiful demonstration of how that mechanism works. And when you're doubting, you're just separate. You can't even experience that or love. So thank you so much.
So now I'd like to have share, what was it like in the second part of the exercise where we were holding on to the money?
Yo quiero compartir que en la práctica de este ejercicio me sucedió lo que me pasa en la vida real. He llegado a tener mucho y de pronto me quedo sin nada. Y así inicié y terminé en bancarrota. Pero me dio risa porque dije, esto es muy parecido a lo que me pasa en la vida real. Pero recuerdo mucho una frase de San Agustín que dice, más vale necesitar poco que tener mucho. Y eso me sucede a mí. A mí las cosas como que me estorban porque prefiero tener una maleta para ir de un lado a otro. Y estar ligera de equipaje para estar en todos lados. Y que las cosas no me hacen o no sean un ancla que me deje ir a un lado y a otro y compartirme y compartir mi tiempo y mi cariño para con todos los demás.
So wonderful to see. Remember, this is a self-discovery exercise. So you're seeing things for yourself. And this game is like my life because you're the one playing it. You see, we create. Other people had other experiences, and they could see how it's like their life. Yes, because you were the one playing that game. So you're interpreting it. And you can see how Matthew said earlier, we always win at the game we're playing. The question is, are you conscious or aware of the game you're playing? Are you choosing it freely? See, if you lived your life like, I choose to be carefree, it's kind of like footloose and fancy-free, as we say. Light, so I can travel easily. I'm not burdened by a lot of things. Yes? So your life represents that. It's even how the game, you could see the message. Now, if someone didn't live their life like that, and they had the same experience as you, they'd see something else, because that's your view. And we're going to, in a minute, we're going to share with you to kind of wrap this exercise up. Like, consider there's another way to look at it. But right now, we're all sharing from our own individual view. Through our blinded perception is through we're speaking. So you're seeing things about yourself.
You could hear in her speaking that the circumstances of her life completely were fine with her. She's living abundance in those what some people would call impoverished circumstances. You can see it's not about the stuff. She prefers not having to be burdened by stuff, by possession. So another person could look at her life and see poverty, and they probably do. But that's not what's going on over there. She's completely, I was talking to her, she loves her life. So it's not the circumstances, it's perfect demonstration, it's how we feel it through across our speech, our cooler being. Great, thank you so much.
One more person want to share?
Martha? Okay.
También la verdad yo saqué una moneda después de mi compañera sí, me pasaron mi moneda, lo transfería aquí de repente como que tenía como 3 billetes y puras monedas para bajando. Entonces yo empecé a repetir los billetes y luego las monedas y me quedé con uno. Y fue más de lo que yo tenía, y me siento confusa, la gente se como que, ay, no sabía qué hacer. En la segunda parte, me sentí tranquila.
And then we'll wrap it up.
Maybe I am as low than
So, a couple of things. He's sitting with the microphone. Couple of things. One is, abundance is an inequality. Abundance doesn't mean emptying your wallet.
Because you don't
Every
know.
time you open your wallet, just giving it all away. Just like love doesn't mean making love with every woman you see.
Oh,
Okay?
shit.
Abundance is an inequality. What's your mother's name? What's your name? Patricia. You could hear her speaking that how much she enjoyed life, how abundant she was with, and it wasn't about the outer circumstance. Yeah. So I don't want you to think that the being of abundance means you just spend irresponsibly. It's not that. It is being generous, and tomorrow we're going to really get generosity in a new way. But I want to ask you a question. In your 24-hour day, in a 24-hour day, and all you have is your attention, all you have is your worship power. How much of your worship power in minutes, in hours, is invested? You're the money manager, yeah? Yeah. How much of your attention do you invest in it? How rich you are, how grateful you are, how extraordinary the opportunity of your life, like how much you have. And then how much of your time do you invest in what if this happens, in worry, in doubt, in what if the mortgage market falls apart, in how am I going to afford that? What percentage of your day?
It's a funny thing, because I divided my worries into chapters. The first one is the money thing.
Yeah.
So I will spend a lot of time worrying about the money,
Okay.
because I'm careful in what I spend. In the other thing, chapter 2, I am so grateful, and I feel blessed for my life, for my wife, and while we were eating, then we spent 1 hour talking about my wife, how we get married, how much I love it. I don't know. I feel good, really, really blessed about it. I don't know.
Okay. So, about how much of your day is invested in not enough or scarcity, and how much of your day day is invested in how fulfilled and full your life is. Give me a percentage.
20 about worry about money.
20 in worry and 80 in fulfillment.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Tomorrow, we're going to work on, the first thing in the morning we're going to go work on is what we call self-worth. Being worthy of receiving all of God's gifts. You know, and this is one of the biggest wounds that we have. That we're wounded, we think that we're not worthy to receive the gift of the universe. After we do those exercises, if you're still not clear, because you stood up and you said something that was quite revealing, maybe I'm a slow learner. I suspect that you diminish yourself a lot. You doubt yourself a lot. You diminish yourself. You don't really give yourself credit for how extraordinary you are. And I'm guessing that that's a block in your flow. And afterwards, if it's not clear for you after that, stand up again, okay? Come on. Okay? Yeah, thank you for that.
No, hold on a sec. I'm curious, because I'm just curious, I just want to look for myself. So if you spend 25%, you said worry, and 75-80% grateful, is that your experience of life?
When we talk about money, I don't like where I am right now.
And do you
The
not like
other part of my life, I'm proud. I'm glad. And I love it.
So, if you look at that then, how much of your day is trying to change or fix your relationship to money?
Or get somewhere.
I think that's the question.
So, what I heard you say is that in most areas of your life you're fulfilled. You feel completely blessed. But in your relationship to money, that's where you want it to be different.
Yes.
So how much of your day, in a 24-hour day, are you wanting your relationship to money to be different?
Quite a lot of time.
Okay, great. So here's what we say, you want it to be different. If that's where your attention is, you're going to get a lot of wanting. Because that's the being.
Spirit will illuminate whoever you're being. So you're putting in front of the film, in front of the light, on the projector, wanting. If you're wanting to be rich, Spirit's going to give you wanting. If you are rich now, Spirit will illuminate rich now. But you'll see you're winning at the game you're playing. You're worshiping wanting. You're worshiping wanting and you're getting wanting. You're just getting more wanting. You're getting an abundance of wanting. Spirit can only be abundant, so you're getting an abundance of wanting.
So where you all want to be looking from, because we're not just speaking to him yet, this is all you. You're looking through your filter at your life. It's the quality of being that's going to be illuminated. So, if you're wanting, like Matthew said, you'll get abundance of wanting. If you're trying, you get an abundance of trying. See, if you're working hard, you get an abundance of working hard. It's that beingness of you. And that's all you need to see right now. So, you're in the perfect place.
Yeah.
And I promise you, you won't be there tomorrow when we wrap it up at 2 o'clock. And if you are, come see us. We didn't get our job done.
And you're, by the way, you're not a slow
This is a form of speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
If you
we say that. The form of speaking that we're practicing is giving us our life. Like, do you know people who are are sarcastic.
Yeah.
You do, yes? I can feel it.
Yes, of course we do.
Right? They will tell you, that's just a form of speaking. But it creates a particular experience, yes? Or how about people who everything you say, they turn it into a joke? They're like the clown in the family, the comedian, yes? Those are, it's not like you know any different. What you say is creating a world. And that's why we're saying, practicing what we're saying is more powerful than you think. It actually is creating your experience. So, it's great. It's really great you said that.
You're in great
You're in a
shape.
perfect place. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's acknowledge everyone who shared. So here's what I wonder. How many of you ended up with less money than you started with, and you're wondering, where's my money? It's
Yeah.
okay if you're there. Okay, great. How many of you ended up with more money than you started with, and you feel a little bit guilty and wonder whose money you have?
Like some Christian.
The other half of the room. Yeah, it's all right if you don't feel guilty. Okay. So I want to reiterate, I want to say again, the directions. Because this is a great example of we hear through our filters. What we said was, take out some amount of money you're willing to contribute to the whole. Now, are you part of the whole? You are, yes?
Yes,
There is
I
no whole without each one of you. So guess what? Your money is still in the room. You may not be holding on to it, but it's here. See, we created a community pot when we gave you those directions. A community pot of money. You actually all have more than you started with, because before you just had what you have, and now you have some piece of the whole.
That's interesting.
There's a whole pot of money that people are sharing. See, the money didn't go anywhere, but it's still here. Money never goes anywhere if we viewed it all as a whole. It's in circulation. It's always moving through us, just like you give money to the coffee vendor, and they give you a cup of coffee. That coffee is money.
Yeah.
For some people, it's how they exchange money, coffee beans. It's always in circulation. So the money is still in this room, and we said in the beginning, this workshop, this seminar, is practicing being that there's only one of us. So if you're the person holding more of the money right now, you're looking out for everyone. So if someone doesn't have enough money to get home, and you have an abundance of the community pot, you make sure everyone's got a way home. If someone needs bus fare or taxi money or whatever, yes?
Who would you deny in this room anyway? Look around. Who would you deny? Who would you withhold from them?
Just like we said, who would you give to? We all took out some amount of money we're willing to give. And it's an exercise in seeing the blocks and the flow. Because if you feel guilty, maybe it's self-worth that we'll be working on. Can you see that? Just like when you look at how much you pulled out to play with in the beginning, that tells you something about how you see yourself. Okay? So, my question is, can we count on all of you to make sure that everyone's needs are met between now and tomorrow morning when they get back here? Can we count on you for that? Because we're all sharing a community pot right now. Whatever we took out, that belongs to the community, to the one being. Yes, everybody will make sure that everyone has a ride home and can get back here, whatever it might be. Maybe someone gave their babysitting money, or I don't know, right? But this is how you begin to form community. Yes? Microphone?
my gasoline money away.
Preguntaste a los que tuvieron menos dinero y a los que tuvieron más dinero. Pero yo que recibí inclusive el mismo billete que repartí, ¿qué pasa? ¿Sí? Es el mismo.
So, again, hold on a second, you might need the microphone. What do you make that mean? See, what do you see in that? Like, this is that self-exploration. What do you see? How did you end up with the same bill? Like, what do you see? How do you answer that?
Fluyó la energía, ¿verdad? Que fluyó la energía.
Full cycle, yes? It flows. How many people might have touched that bill? Full cycle. All the way around and came right back to you. Great. That's a perfect example of releasing and receiving. Fully participating. It just keeps on moving. It keeps on going through.
Yo también quiero decir, la manera que vi, me la regresaron la parte más, hace rato estaba comentando que a lo mejor alguien llevaba lo que traía para también, entonces yo no lo traía para mí y yo tengo para otro. Y pues me regresaron la mano y parte más para el camión. Pero de mañana, porque no tenía.
Man, I love Guadalajara.
Oh God.
Okay, one more.
Entonces, yo quisiera contar mi experiencia que noto que es un poquito diferente a lo que se ha expuesto. Desde que entramos en la primera parte del juego, es de la misma manera que solté mi dinero, nunca me preocupé por llevar la cuenta ni de cuánto daba ni de cuánto recibía. Nunca en mis manos faltó dinero, ni tampoco me fijé en qué cantidad. Y todo eso fue muy divertido. Pero a mí fue más impactante la segunda parte, cuando todo el mundo cerró las manos y se creó un ambiente de tensión, un ambiente de ¿ahora qué pasa? ¿Qué sigue? ¿Quién va a hacer el primer movimiento? Y nadie es. Y si recuerdan ustedes, yo pienso en libros, se podía oír que volaban un Oscar. Para mí eso fue más impresionante porque dejó de ser divertido. Esa es mi experiencia.
That's a great question. Consider that the holding on to the money is the condition of the world right now.
All right.
Great question. Who's going to make the first move?
See, the second exercise is the world we live in now. And the second exercise is the world we all want. I mean, the first part is the world we want, right? And that we're all afraid to make the first step.
You know, we have a farm in Hawaii, on the island of Maui. And the name of the farm is which means many hands. And the farm is beautiful and abundant year-round. It produces so much food. But the reason it does is because we give it away, we share it with people. There are other people who own farms, and they pay a caretaker to take care of the property when they're not there, but it's empty, it's vacant. And you know what a vacant piece of property or house looks like? It starts to smell stale, and its life is gone, you know? Our property is fully with life, but 6 or 10 people live there full time. And we have a fruit stand by the road where we sell our produce to local people and tourists. And so it's this vibrant piece of art because we give it away, we share it with others. And people want what we have, but they don't want to share it.
They don't want to have who's living on that property?
What if the people ruin my stuff? Well, what if they do? You don't have it anyway. You're not even there to enjoy it. You defend it and protect it and guard it. You get a dog or something. Scare people up. Where ours is like, we open it up and many hands do the work. And the whole community enjoys it. And when we go there, it's like all these lives that share their stories of how they've loved to work the land and what they've grown and the people they've met and the difference it makes in their lives. And our house is like that. People, we never know who's sleeping in our house. We get up in the morning and we see these bundles. And I say, Matthew, who's that? He says, I don't know. Friends, children, employees. People come through our house. So there's this vitality in our house rather than this house all neat and nice and clean with nobody home. So that's what we say. It's a great question. Where could you be more sharing? Who's going to go first? Where could you give when you think, I don't have anything to give? That's the time to give. That's like priming the pump, a water pump. You have to push a few times before water comes out. Keep your pump primed. Give when you think you don't have to give. It will go full circle. But you're not giving to get. You're giving to give.
Okay, we're going to move on because we want to get through
So
this.
we have some money here, so if somebody doesn't have bus money or babysitting money, or here's some money in the pot, we'll put it here. And if it's too hard for you to come get some, you should probably come do that, because that would be breaking through some resistance that you have. All right, and those of you that want to share with the community or make sure people are cared for at the end, make sure that everyone's cared for. Great practice in sharing a pot of money. So great job. It's very beautiful.
So the next few minutes we're going to work on this first current or this first quality called responsibility, or we call it creation responsibility. And this current or this quality is that our life is a picture of our thoughts, our speech, our beliefs, our actions, our attitudes. This screen out here is just the result of what's going on here. Nothing else. There's nothing else going on. In the Bible it says, you reap the seeds that you sow. With your thoughts, your speech, your beliefs, your actions, your attitudes are the seeds that you sow. Spirit, in all its love and benevolence, will empower, will illuminate whatever or whoever we're being as co-creators. If we're being lack, Spirit will illuminate lack. And you will have an abundance of lack, because Spirit can only be in abundance. If you're wanting to be rich, you will experience an abundance of wanting. Spirit will illuminate wanting, and you'll have an abundance of wanting. So you could look at your life and see what you have in abundance. That's where you're investing your attention. You're investing your attention in what you have an abundance of. You probably all know people who never work, and somehow they're always off to Bali, or they're always off to Thailand. and you're working hard just to make it here in Guadalajara, and somehow they're always traveling, you can't figure it out. Because they've invested or they've given their attention to, my life is about travel. And somehow,
I'd do it.
We know kids. They don't have anything. We call it couch surfing. They don't have a home, but they ski or they snowboard 120 days a year. They're completely rich. They love their life, and they surf 100 days a year. But that's where they invest their attention, so they get an abundance of that.
Couch surfing is sleeping on someone else's couch night after night after night, right? Moving from friend to friend to friend to friend's parents, that would be us. That's couch surfing.
So if you have an abundance of hard work, look and see how much attention do you put on, God, I gotta work a lot. And life is hard. See, you're winning at that game. You get an abundance of hard work. Spirit is always expressing an abundance. So we're saying if you take on these 6 qualities, which this creation responsibility is the first one, you will experience an abundance of supply in your life. You will have the experience of more prosperity in your life. Because you will be being the source of your supply. Not out there, not the stock market, not the mortgage rate, not your boss, not your job. You will be the source of your supply. Now there's a trick to this, so I want everyone to listen. There's 2 very key distinctions in this workshop, and this is the first one, so I always ask people to listen carefully. The tricky thing is when you start to look outside yourself to see if it's working. Is this abundance stuff working? Is this gratitude stuff working? If you start to look, am I having more? You're not being spirit. Because spirit can only be whole and complete. So when you're looking for it, you're not being it. If you're looking for if you're rich, are you rich? No, if you have to look for it, you're not it. So spirit will illuminate something missing. And you'll have the experience of something missing.
Because you're looking for it. So spirit illuminates something's missing, because why else would you, if I started looking around my chair, you would all start looking around my chair with me. You would wonder, what is she looking for? Because you can only illuminate something's missing to who I'm being is it here? Is it here?
Am I right? So let's move to relationship. It will be much easier to see a relationship than in money.
That's harder.
If you're in a relationship, let's say an intimate relationship, and you begin to question, are they the one? Are they my soulmate? Am I getting what I need? Do they love me? How does that go? How is it to be on the other side of the room? You're in a relationship and someone's wondering if you're the one. Do you come forward with love or retreat from love?
Retreat.
You start questioning, right? Am I the one? Are they the one for me? You start doubting it.
The minute you start waiting for love to show up over there, you'll experience something's missing over there. And you'll win at that game. They'll begin to question. They'll pull back. So,
There's a Rudolf Steiner quote that says, unless I love something, it will not reveal itself to me. Unless I love something completely, it will not reveal itself to me. Can you see that? That when you feel love, you can open up, you can share. But if you're questioning, if you're doubting, then it closes down.
So if you're waiting for love to show up in a relationship, you'll get a lot of waiting for love to show up. You'll get more doubt. You're not being loved with no evidence. So in this practice, the part of this practice is being rich with no evidence and no expectation. This is what we think Christ means when he says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else will be given." See that you're in heaven. See that you're loved. See that you're joyful and abundant, and all will be given. Now, that's the paradox of this training. You can have all the abundance, all the supply you want, but you can't be looking for it. You have to be it first with no evidence. Now, I know that's a lot to be with right now, because it's a paradox. So I just want you to marinate in that.
Take a breath.
So we're going to do
So we're going to share with you.
So we're going to do a call and response affirmation, but we didn't translate it ahead of time. So I'm going to say something, and our beautiful translator is going to say it to you, and then you're going to, maybe she'll say it to you twice, so you get it, and then you're going to say it back to me, and then I'm going to say it once. She'll translate just once the second time, and then you'll repeat it out loud.
Not to worry, Lauren, but not too long.
It's very short. And we'll do it in sections, okay? I am giving up wants I no longer need. I am completely aware. This is what I have to make. Okay, start over. My awareness of spirit, abundant need, as my supply, is my supply. Can you repeat it for me one more time? My awareness of spirit, abundant need, as my supply, is my supply. Let's try. Say it with me. Let's do it again. My awareness. One more time. What's that like? So let's look at what you're saying for a second. Can you see that your awareness, what's your saying? Can you see that your awareness of love and your experience of love are the exact same thing? If you have no awareness of love, can you experience love? Remember that example you gave earlier when you're annoyed and someone comes up to you and tries to be nice and hug you and you're like, so you have to have some awareness of love to experience love. Can everyone see that? There's no separation between awareness and experience. So what we're saying in this very foreign language, and I understand this language of abundance is foreign, was that like? Did it sound like gobbledygook?
It does, it's a foreign language, when you start speaking, when we first wrote the book, and we had it edited, and they put it in proper English, they changed the meaning. So we had to go back and unedit it, because we don't speak a language of oneness, we speak a language of separation. So it is a foreign language. Just like, you know that 10, 15 years ago, Google did not mean a search engine. Do you know that?
No.
Or Yahoo. That wasn't a search engine, that was someone calling somebody. Yahoo! With every new invention in society, there comes a language to birth it, to bring it into our consciousness. Just like doctors, if they talk doctor language, you have no idea what they're talking about, and it's your body. Yes? You know how you say, just plain English, like, or plain Spanish, or whatever, right? Like, every thought, every way of thinking has a language that supports it. We're birthing a language of oneness here. So we know it's foreign. And our request is, as you practice it, it'll start to make more sense to you. But at first, it's just practice. Just like if you start to stand in front of a mirror and say, I am beautiful, that may be difficult because it sounds like a foreign language. Because mostly how we look at ourselves in the mirror is to find fault. What's wrong with my hair? What's wrong with my clothes? Do I need to shave? How many wrinkles are showing? You know, is it time to dye my hair? Whatever, right? You're looking for what's not perfect about you. You're not looking in the mirror and acknowledging your perfection. But that's a very powerful tool. Because you are perfect, just the way you are. You are a perfect expression of love. Just like, you know, there are some babies in this room. None of you have gone up to that baby and gathered together his mother and father and said, you know,
That's beautiful, you know.
the ears, or the nose, the thighs. No, we don't do that. In fact, babies with really chubby thighs, we celebrate. Look at those thighs! But we don't do that when we're teenagers or adults or 65, or we don't do that. Because we've got years of judging ourselves. But the perfection of that baby, that is you. You just stop celebrating your perfection. So this practice is about celebrating the divine in us, those qualities that bring out the best of us. And then you'll experience yourself as that. So it'll seem foreign at first. It's okay. Keep practicing. Okay? So, I want to... Yeah, okay. So tonight, you're going to do one page in the one part of a day. So if you flip open your book,
The first day,
I'm going to do that. But we just did what we knew. We got up every day like we were going to work, and we had a big piece of white canvas, and we got some dyes and a couple pebbles, and some little pieces of paper. And then we just took turns, like I'd say, it's your turn, what are you going to do? And he'd take a turn and he'd make up something. And then we'd talk that through. And then he'd say, okay, it's your turn, what are you going to do? And I'd make something up, and we'd talk that through. And a year later, the Abounding River game was complete. It was printed and out and available for people, and it's the game you're going to see. And in the meantime, we contracted an artist, and we found a game producer and finished the design of it all and written the rules. And so the reason I share that with you is you may sometimes be inspired to take on something you don't know how to do. That's perfect. If you knew how to do it, you'd already be doing it. And what we want you to encourage you to do is just take one step. And from that first step, you have a different view. And you'll see things, and the resources and the tools will come to you. And then you take the next step, and now it's a new view. And the resources and the tools will come to you. That's trusting the process. And then after we invented the game, we wrote the book, and the cafes were actually last. Even though now people would say we're in the restaurant business, it started with the game. And the game is designed to be able to play 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, and you can play it with anyone. It's best we say between like 4, 2, and 8 or 10 people. The more people you play with, the longer you wait for a turn. But when other people are taking their turn, you're seeing things for yourself too. And you're going to move around this board game and draw cards, and the cards are like the questions we've been asking you today. They're like exercises. And there's a laughing square, and if you land on it, if one person lands on it, everybody laughs out loud. And then there are some sage squares where you get some wisdom to think about, and there's reflection squares, which are about self-reflection, practicing, affirming the best in you. And there's no ending to the game. The cards, when you play a card, you may see that there's something for you to take out into the world, which is where you really play and win the game. Like maybe it'll say, who are you stingy with? And you'll share with the people playing the game who you're stingy with, and then it'll say, write down their name and practice being more generous. So you'll take your pens with you, because you're going to write down some things that you see in the game, and you'll take that out into your life tonight, tomorrow, over the next few days, and practice that. You're also going to want to make sure that you take your chairs with you, so you can sit around the game board. And there is going to be someone from the group that's assisting here today at every table to guide you through it.
Mike, to save time so we can get you out of here on time, let's have everyone, rather than take the time to pick a spirit name and abundance name, which takes, people want to think about it, takes some time. Let's have everyone, unless you have some objections, let's have everyone in the spirit and abundance for today, for just playing the game. And then tonight you can really spend some time picking a name that completely fits you.
And then tomorrow morning when we come, we'll have you introduce yourself as, for example, I'm One Love Percy. One is what I use for my spirit word, and love is my abundance word, and Percy is my king. Now here's the best part of this game here in Guadalajara. Game pieces are chocolate. Okay?
So they're eatable.
It's easy. This is how you move around the board, okay? So you're going to, you know how Monopoly has the little Scotty dog and the train and the boots and you get a coin, a Hershey Kiss, a plain Hershey, a Crackle Hershey. Okay? So these will be there, you'll pick your piece, and it's how you're going to be moving around the board, okay? Any questions about that? And then after you've played, you'll be going home, doing your homework, getting a good night's sleep.
And what time are we coming back tomorrow? 10 o'clock? 9 o'clock.
Being generous with yourself. So before we end today, I want to acknowledge a couple people. So Lorenza, will you just stand up in the back of the room? This is our amazing translator. You've expanded my world, because, you know, we have 30 or 35 employees who are Spanish speaking. And now they have access to this from you, because we have the 42-day practice translated. But we didn't take on translating it until the opportunity of this came up. We've done our workshop with somebody translating kind of like as we went. But now we can see that this whole Hispanic community has access to this view of life. here and share with your families and your friends and your communities and start to expand what's possible for Mexico. And Renee, you are the visionary that made that happen. You know, like, she came to us and said, I want to lead this. And we're thinking, okay, you know? And this is part of the training to build a Latino leader that can go into Hispanic communities and teach this view of life, make it possible for people. So, Renee, thank you for such big vision. And, you know, Renee's come to San Francisco several times. And how this started was we have Miguel is an employee of ours from Guadalajara.
Is Miguel's brother here by any chance?
You and Miguel?
Another
Is Miguel's brother here? So Miguel is one of our employees, and Renee came to San Francisco to visit Maria Luisa. And Maria Luisa said, oh, you have to go to Cafe Gratitude. You have to see it, you have to see it. They came into Cafe Gratitude, and they were speaking Spanish at the table. And Miguel, who's from here, overheard them and started talking to them and discovered they were from his hometown, from Guadalajara, and he said, oh, you must write Matthew and Kirsty, you must write them. Tell them you went to learn the Abounding River workshop. Now, Miguel is an employee that we've been working with for years to speak up, to be more visible, to be like, because he's shy because he thinks his English isn't that good. You are the result of Miguel speaking up, of him hearing them speaking. So see the power of one person. Miguel, he's not going to believe it when we go back and show the pictures. He's not going to believe he caused this in his hometown. So don't doubt the power of you sharing with other people the possibility of this in their life. They'll be here or they won't. That doesn't matter. Don't stop sharing. So, Luisa, thank you so much for bringing the dance and the movement that I know we've just begun, but for really speaking to the hearts and the culture of this community. And then the graphic and everybody in the white shirts and the jeans, Yvonne and Trini, and all of you stand up in the back of the room and everybody turn around and look at this team of people who made food and printed the book and things. Here way before you this morning, and they're going to stay after you leave and clean up, and this would never have happened without their huge commitment to make a difference in the community and the lives of all of you. This is an example of what it is to stand for something bigger, to commit to something. You have no idea how you're going to do it. But to make your life about something bigger than your own clothes, your rent, your food, even your children's education, your house, your car, like what is it to take on a commitment to even people you don't know? So thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts. Like, it's so moving to feel such a profound partnership, you know, in another country. And it's just, I'm so present to what we all have to offer the world. Like, this is the answer to who's going to go first. You're going first. And you're kind of bringing us to be bigger, because we didn't have the vision of a Hispanic Abounding River. You had it, and you infused and enrolled us in it, and now it exists. So thank you guys so much for what you brought to this community. And I know there will be miracles, mucho milagros, miracles all over the place. So thank you so much, you guys. We love you. So we're going to move into the other room there. Take your chairs. You can come back and get your belongings, but take your chairs and take your pens. And take your headsets, because we're going to translate the directions. And then you can play, and then when you're done, be generous and wonderful with yourself, and we'll see you tomorrow morning here at 9. Which is fabulous. And there's money here. If you need money, come get money.
Free money. Free money. Funny.